Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode.
This is the home of Marissa and Mitch McGarry, and they love it here, and it's awesome. And I'm your host, Colin Johnson, and I sell real estate with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. And I'm excited for you guys today. We have a dude on the podcast that could maybe, just maybe, save you a bunch of money. Welcome to the podcast, Thomas DeHart. How are you?
I'm doing well, Colin. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much.
How many podcasts have you done in your life?
This is number one, if you don't count recording ad libs on the phone with the kids in the car.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
It is fun.
We should jump into that, but we're going to pause. First thing, Johnson City Living Podcast. What most do you love about Johnson City in our area?
It's a great question. I think it would have to be the people. Obviously, my soon-to-be wife lives here, and a lot of family and friends that are so close that they're hard to distinguish from family. So once you lay down roots here, it's really hard to get away, I think.
Yeah. Who's this soon-to-be Miss DeHart?
It is Miss Shauna Gregg.
Shauna Gregg.
Who's the program manager of the Balladeer Children's Program.
Oh,
Ballad Health.
that's cool.
So yeah, she's doing great work over there, helping Ballad families have good, solid family connection time. And I think it's helping retention and recruitment. So it's part of the ongoing effort to improve local health care. And I think she's playing a good part in that.
That's cool. And you're getting married in 32 days?
32, I believe.
By the time this comes out, it's going to be less. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You're so ready.
We've had it planned for a long time. It's time to just do the plan.
Did you plan it out because you're an accountant?
No, honestly, Shauna has done, I would say, at least 70% of the planning. I think that's pretty typical.
That's great, yeah.
Of the guy. You want to be there, involved, supportive, but it's also know when to just say, yes, dear.
Right. Know your role.
Right. So yeah, that's in her DNA, is planning stuff out.
I like it.
Execute.
Yeah, my wife is a planner. Carly can get down to she loves to plan.
Yeah.
And I don't.
You're free-spirited.
I'm pretty free-spirited.
That's a good way to be.
I like to plan some, but I'm more, fly by the seat of your pants. Kind of like this podcast.
Yeah.
Who knows what we're going to talk about?
That's right.
So Insight CFO is the name of your company.
That's right.
How old is this establishment?
So the unofficial birthday was February 22nd, 2022.
Ooh, okay.
Just had to do it that day.
2/22/22.
Exactly. So I wrote some letters just to try and get some interest going. It didn't really go anywhere, but I always just say that's the day because of the awesome date.
I like it. Yeah.
And I did do something.
There you go. So we're 2 years in.
Right.
What were you doing before this?
So that's a part of the story, I guess.
All right, we're jumping ahead. Let's talk about the origin story. Where were you born?
So Boone, North Carolina.
Nice, right over the hill.
Far away. Yeah.
Are you a professional snowboarder or skier?
No, it is cool. You do ski trips in school over there. That's a normal part of fourth grade.
Just like, we're going to go skiing today.
That's right.
Gotcha.
So, that was cool. I loved it, but no, it never became like a regular thing for me.
Gotcha. We got to go to the park. Rotary Park was hey, we're going to Rotary Park.
Yeah, my son got to do that last year.
You guys get to go to ski. That was a lot better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you grew up in Boone.
That's right.
And then how did you make it in across the border to Tennessee?
So a close friend of mine from my home church youth group, she was a senior when I was a freshman in high school. She came over to ETSU. They do a great service for North Carolina kids who are on those border counties. They let them in for in-state tuition.
Gotcha.
It's a great way to get away from home without going all
Too
the way
far,
away.
right, yeah.
Those mountains make it seem a lot further than it really is.
I said Appy State the other day. My wife corrected me. She said people don't say Appy State. They say App State now.
I had never heard that term until I came here, and then everybody referred to it that way.
As App State.
As
But
Appy State.
Appy State.
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
I gotcha. But in Boone, they call it App State.
App State, yeah.
Gotcha. Because
ASU.
Appalachian's a lot to say. That's a mouthful.
It is. It's a mouthful,
Yeah.
but you got to get.
And that
Yeah.
was too close to home. So you're like, I'm branching out. I'm going to Johnson City.
That's right. I did get a small scholarship, so that helped
That does
make
help.
the decision a little more palatable to my
There you go.
parents. They want me to go to App
So
State.
if you're listening and you live in a border county of Tennessee, you get to go to in-state tuition in ETSU, something like that, right?
Yeah, yes. Many
Yeah,
of
like
the
Avery and
right,
Boone. Yeah.
North Carolina and Virginia border
Yeah.
counties.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So when did you graduate from ETSU?
So the first time was December of 2014.
Okay. You say this like you've graduated 5 times.
No, just 2.
Just 2.
Just
okay.
2.
So what did so tell me about your second degree. What was your first degree?
First degree was philosophy, minor in history.
Okay.
So kind of the liberal arts route. Very thought-provoking, interesting, not as commercially viable as it turns out.
What's your philosophy on allowing students to go to school and get degrees that aren't financially viable options?
That's a great question. That is a great question. So,
Because you're investing money into and being an accountant, you want to see a ROI, return on investment, right?
correct. So I don't know if I could develop like a cogent political position on it, but a good, like what I think I'll tell my kids when they're at that point, I'll just try and see like how into this thing are they? Like, are they just going to school to, party and have fun and maybe do a little bit of classes here and there, or are they like really into something?
Yeah.
Like they are going to be the next, you name it. And my thoughts are, if they're not super into something, maybe go to like a trade school, like a Northeast state, get a good job, something that can make
Or a
living.
couple of years for free. And see what they like there, maybe. And maybe they do want to do electrical or plumbing or carpentry or.
Exactly.
And those guys now are
They kill it.
anybody. I'm not being sexist. People graduating in those trades are killing it. Yeah.
I was talking to the lady at Great Clips, giving me a haircut yesterday, and she said that she went to cosmetology school for free in Greenville right out of high school. And, it's probably making $20+ an hour cutting hair.
That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Not
21
bad.
years old.
Yeah.
It's better than I was doing.
Yeah. Well, and your hair looks great, by the way. Did a
Thank
good
you.
job. Did a good job. Yeah, I think it's interesting that like you were saying, it's kind of you got to make a decision there.
Well, and let the kid kind of guide your advice, I think.
Do you feel like the guidance counselor guided you well with the philosophy and history? What were you thinking of doing before you said, hey, I'm going to go into accounting?
I think where my thoughts were at the time was maybe going on to do law or something post-bachelor degree education.
Maybe
I think,
teach or something?
Yeah, I think philosophy would have been a great bachelor's degree for law school. So I don't think it was completely out of touch with like a sound plan. I just didn't go down that road.
Yeah, gotcha. And then my next question, you can say pass if you want, but how involved were you like with your church and like having people help you decide and praying over you and that kind of thing, like for your, because I've got both of them. We've got 2 in school now, but one of them just started at ETSU and we're like, hey, just tell the Lord, ask the Lord to direct you in what you're going to do. And then maybe that's where you're at now when he took you where you are.
No, I love that question. I think at that time in my life, I was very spiritually immature and probably did very little thinking in that direction.
Same.
I think I had amazing mentors, parents, grandparents who were praying over me. And so I think that saw me through.
Yeah.
But
Same.
it wasn't, I wasn't the source of my own success at that point.
All right. You rewind.
Yeah.
You get to talk to your 18-year-old Thomas self. What would you tell 18-year-old Thomas?
It's a great question. Humility. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe just a single word. Just adopt a posture of humility.
Yeah.
Because, life's going to throw a lot at you. And every time you approach something with pride, you're going to fail.
Agreed. It's a downfall of man for a reason. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So you said, hey, this isn't very marketable. I'm going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Going to go deeper in the hole.
That's right.
Let's go get our master's or bachelor's in accounting.
That's right.
Nice.
That really was an outcome of finding out that I was going to be a dad.
Oh, congratulations.
So, I was 25 at the time, and it kind of just been bebopping around call center jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally
did call center.
Started at ACT, right? $8 an hour, data entry kind of work.
Got a nephew who did that, and he's working his way up.
And it's a start,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is what you make it. Walmart did the CenturyLink call center here in town, and that's where I was when I found out, okay, I'm going to be a dad. Time to kind of turn it up a notch.
Nice.
And I'd taken Principles of Accounting 1 and 2 at Northeast State, and just it clicked for me.
Uh-huh.
But I also clicked more with like entrepreneurialism at that time.
Yeah.
I was trying to start a business, but I knew it was time to just lock in on something secure.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. And then, so when did you graduate with your accounting degree?
So that would have been 2019.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you go to work for someone there? Or?
I did, yeah. So
After that?
first 2 years of public accounting career were at Rhoda Moss,
Oh, yeah.
which is, I would say, one of the top 3 big names here in the Tri-Cities, at least. And worked with them for a couple years.
What did you learn there? That was like
RM.
Yeah.
That was a great first stop because they expected a lot out of staff accountants. They kind of expected you to step in and kind of manage the client account, do a lot more heavy lifting. I made a lot of phone calls to the IRS there on clients' behalf. Was on a lot of power of attorneys for clients. I learned a lot there. And that's a pro and a con, right? The pro is you get all that experience. The con is you're carrying a lot more weight on your shoulders. And when you stumble, sometimes you fall a lot harder in that kind of an environment.
Yes.
So it was a great first stop for me, though.
That's great.
Yeah.
When did you start feeling the itch to start something of your own?
Probably before I even left RM, to be honest with you. But I wasn't there yet financially. So I did go and work at Blackburn Childers and Stegall here in town for 3 years after that.
Mm-hmm.
And BCS, there's a lot more, I would say, like distribution of the workload.
Okay.
There's a lot more structure in a way.
Okay.
Not to say anything negative on RM, but I think BCS just it's a well-oiled machine over there.
I got some buddies some over there, and it seems like they got it tweaked pretty well.
They do.
What would be, sorry, keep going.
No, you're good.
Then, so you said, hey, I think I want to start my own thing.
Right. And a part of the drawback for me of public accounting is that And it doesn't necessarily have to be this way, but it's kind of like an open door policy. Like if you're willing to come here and pay our fee, we don't really discriminate on like the industry you're in or exactly what type of business operation you have going on. Like
Gotcha.
we'll figure it out and we'll get it done.
Right. It may not be in our wheelhouse, but we'll figure it out.
Exactly. And of course, you develop specializations over time. I think all the partners over there probably have things they're more comfortable in. But for me, I always felt the itch to be like the best at something and to kind of just know not just a little bit about it, but to really be able to speak with confidence about whatever it is I'm working on.
Yeah.
And that's hard to get in that traditional public accounting environment. But I think, the critical piece of me wanting to start my own business was learning more about profit first.
I like it. So you started in 2022 and you're now a solopreneur, right? It's just you.
That's right.
And you got to get after it. And you got kids to feed and you got a new wife coming up. So you're a hustler, it sounds like.
Well, I don't know if I'd fall into the hustler category. I am not afraid to fail.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to give it a shot and to do my best.
Yeah.
And I found, as I'm sure you probably have too, that when we were talking about school and degrees and all that, but a lot of times you can get paid to get the education.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and you get a lot of education on your own, learning how not to do it. And,
That's right.
What would be some tips for some people listening here, maybe thinking about they're working in the corporate world or a local firm, and they're like, I think I might want to start my own accounting business, and or I may want to step out on my own and do something. What would be some tips / tricks that you would have in mind?
Yeah. So Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, wrote another book called Fix This Next. And this is a book about, as an entrepreneur, you are kind of like always going to be stuck on something in your business. And so he kind of took this Maslow's hierarchy of needs approach. And the base level of the pyramid is really all about the generation of business, like the actual sales piece of a business. I've heard Donald Miller has in his Business Made Simple program, he kind of refers to sales as like the engine. So I guess that's like step one. Well, step one is to do budgeting and to know how much you need to make to keep the lights on.
There you go.
Put food in your belly.
Worst case scenario budget.
That's exactly right. And so then step two is to really go out and generate business and to sell something to someone.
Right.
Just identify a market and a need and to solve the need.
Yeah.
Things like accounting, with enough lift, sell themselves, but that's not the case with everything.
Right.
So yeah, budgeting and then figuring out what it is you can be so passionate about as to go out and sell it,
Because if you don't believe in it, nobody else is going to either.
That's right. And that was my first sales job, was at CenturyLink. I was trying to sell DirecTV, but I didn't buy DirecTV. I did not pay for it. And I think, like, in retrospect, I don't know that DirecTV was the best product for me to sell. But
I should give it to you guys for a discount. So you have it and you talk about it and you go, it's awesome. Because it's cheap on our end.
Or not.
Or not.
Just, make you lean into the product that much to make you feel like it's worth the full price.
And wish you wanted it too.
That's right.
I wish it was available in my neighborhood.
But I don't know. I never believed in it strong enough to put my money where my mouth was back then. And I think that was a big part of my failure, at that job.
I think I'd have a hard time putting the satellite dishes on people's houses. I'm that guy. I'm responsible for all these ugly satellite dishes in town. You're welcome.
Yeah.
That'd be the hard part. Let's talk about profit first.
Yeah.
Tell me about that concept.
So there's a lot to it, but the simplest version is really it's healthy money management for business owners.
Okay.
The idea is to stop putting 100% of your business money or most of your business money into a single bank account and to leverage bank accounts for different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I'm sure it's probably a pretty typical thing they do at like higher corporations, bigger market cap companies, but
For smaller folks, like let's say Mitch and Colin start a widget factory and
exactly.
we're cranking out 100 million widgets a year.
Mm-hmm.
What would be in our, let's say just gross sales are $100,000.
Yeah.
What would be, so we're getting, I guess, what would that be? 10,000 a month coming in,
Yes.
8,500, something like that. What would we, tell me about how we set up these accounts.
Yeah. So the first thing, and I actually think service-based is the easiest to talk about.
Okay.
So if you're
widget fixers, not widget makers.
fixers, perfect. Yes. So widget fixers.
Mitch, we're going on the road with a truck, fixing widgets, baby. It's going to be good. What do you do? I fix widgets.
That's right.
Nobody else who does that? No, you don't. There's a hole in the market.
And in the widget.
Well played.
So at any rate, what you're going to do is you're going to cash your checks every week for fixing your widgets.
That's probably step one.
The ideal is to let it sit there for at least a week, maybe 2 weeks, and that's going to go into an income bank account.
Mitch, we can't go drinking the first night. Got to put it in the bank.
That's
Sorry.
Right. Bummer.
No partying.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
So
great.
After every week or every 2 weeks, you take all that income money
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to send it to 4 different places, 4 different bank accounts.
I like this.
You got your profit account, your owner compensation account, a tax account, and then an operating expense account.
Gotcha.
So the generic kind of formula approach is to do like 5% to profit, 50% to owner compensation, 15% to tax, and then 30% to operating expenses.
Okay.
So you kind of run the business, you make all these widget repairs, but you're only using $30,000 of the $100,000 you make every year to do that.
Gotcha. And that's where expenses are plus taxes would be 45%.
Correct.
Got it. Are you such a good accountant that I only have to pay 15% in tax? Because that sounds amazing.
Honestly, I think when you look at it, you say, all right, I'm going to get taxed on 70% of the 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just thinking about it conceptually, if you're going to report $70,000 of business income, you should be able to cover all that with $15,000 cash.
Gotcha.
The problem can be that your tax advisor doesn't have you properly strategized to where you got more than you need less than the 15
right
to cover your taxes. It might take the whole 15. I do like it because I don't know like the nice way to put it, but you can be doing no strategy and the 15 should cover you.
Gotcha.
But with strategy, you can save some of that.
I like it. I think having a plan on the front end is helpful. I think a lot of people do it on the back end. They go, typically, Mitch and I, we've been making or servicing widgets, fixing them for months, and we get our money in and we split it 50-50, and then we just go and do our thing, and then we come talk to you at the end of the year, and you go, man, you each owe $7,500. I'm like, well, I bought a new widget fixer, and that was I don't have the money, so I'm in trouble.
Right.
And so we didn't plan ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does a good thing because it takes that tax money out of the same pool of resources.
Okay.
It's in its own separate little bank account, and it, preferably would have some interest being accrued throughout the year too.
For sure.
And the thing that's great about it is once you are kind of on the ball, you're typically going to write the check to the IRS, but then you're going to give yourself a refund on the same day. You're not going to have to wait for the IRS to write you a refund check because you've got more than you needed
Oh, nice.
in your tax account.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What kind of entity would you suggest that Mitch and I create to run this widget business?
It's a great question.
Like it would be an S Corp or a LLC or a limited partnership, or what are your thoughts on that?
So there's two business owners. Your default going to be treated as a partnership.
Gotcha.
If you do nothing.
Okay.
Right. And I would say that might be the right approach for the first $50,000 to $60,000 of gross income.
Okay.
Because honestly, by the time you pay a full-blown CPA strategy invoice, you're probably going to maybe lose a little bit on the investment, in the CPA services. Once you start getting above, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year gross income, and it's clear this is no longer a hobby, right? That we're calling a business because you don't want a hobby anymore.
That's right. We have fun doing it, but we still got to make money.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a full-blown business.
Okay.
Then typically for a service-based business that you don't need to be like a doctor or lawyer to do, I would say S corporation is going to be
a better one.
Best friend.
Okay.
You can do that through an LLC.
Okay.
So you make an LLC with the state of Tennessee, and then you just elect to be treated by as an S corporation with the IRS.
Does Insight CFO help people set up these entities?
Absolutely. Yeah. I have to be careful not to step into the managerial position.
Sure.
So you guys
got to manage ourselves, have our own board.
Exactly.
Keep our own minutes. You're just recording and reporting.
And I help you basically fill out the form, but ultimately you're going to have to say, yes, I want to submit this. I want to be an LLC.
And we should probably put out a disclaimer right now saying that we're not attorneys and we're not offering legal advice right now. We're just offering tax ideas. And should you wish to learn more about this, you should engage with Thomas directly.
That's right.
And we'll make sure we get your number in the show notes so that we can send you some business for sure.
Absolutely.
So we got our S Corp, we're rolling.
That's right.
And then there are different things we can do to start saving some money too. What would be some, give me your top 3 tax tips, because if you're like me and October's coming and we've got to pay our year-end deferred tax amount, because sometimes we defer. So what would be some tax advice for listeners on the air right now? Top 3 tips, besides putting it all in a separate account to begin with, which is brilliant and very necessary.
Well, I think a lot of the tax advice out there that you might be kind of like used to hearing can be, I don't know, a little more serving of the tax professional's desire to come in and feel like they're saving you a bunch of money, when at the end of the day, it all kind of comes out in the wash. Like the one I have in mind here is like, go buy a big piece of equipment and depreciate it all at once, take section 179 or something.
Yeah, accelerated depreciation.
Yeah. And here's the thing, if you're financing that equipment, what you've done now is you've created an asymmetry with realizing a tax benefit, but now you've got a cash outflow on this payment.
And on a piece of equipment that is really depreciating as well later on.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's not a positive
win.
So
we should take cash. So Mitch wants a new Tundra for our widget fixing business. And so we should buy that with cash and then depreciate it, or depreciate it with the payment over the next 5 years.
My position on that tends to be, let's try and tie the depreciation treatment to the payment,
Okay.
the cash outflow.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you might pay a little bit more in taxes, but you're probably going to be thankful for it when your income's not artificially high in a future year.
Right.
You don't have that.
Or if we go to sell the truck, the Tundra, in a couple of years because
That's
he wants
right.
a new one.
That's right.
He's always wanting these new trucks in our business. I've been driving this jalopy around for years.
Me too, man. So,
All right. So maybe there aren't.
but
Jack,
to
yeah.
give you some, like, so for an S corporation, number one would be reasonable compensation.
Okay.
You know,
Pay yourself.
pay yourself a reasonable compensation, not an unreasonably high compensation or unreasonably low. And obviously, that's an individual conversation you need to have with a tax advisor. But the thing is, if you can say I can reasonably pay myself $25,000 a year and there's $25,000 left to distribute to myself, well, you just avoided paying payroll taxes on that $25,000 that got distributed to you. That's only a real possibility when you're in the S corporation.
Can you leave that money there and not pay tax on it? No, right? It's still.
Yeah, you'd have to pay taxes on it.
But it's just corporate tax level and versus individual income.
That's right. Yeah, it would be taxed either way. It's just a matter of, is it taxed and staying in the business account or taxed and sitting in my account as the owner?
Gotcha.
I would say the other thing, if you are starting to have a lot of money, and this kind of falls into your area of expertise, is really to look at maybe investing in real estate. We all know there's tons of tax benefits in real estate, but the other main thing you can do is you can own that real estate in a separate LLC. And then you got your S corporation over here, and you can do a self-rental. And you're taking a big pot of money from out of an operating entity where it might get caught up in, payroll taxes.
Sure.
And you're moving it over here to a passive income stream. So that'd be the second one. For the people.
Pay yourself rent.
Yes. Yeah. And
I like that one.
honestly, this is personal opinion. A lot of people out there might disagree. And I think it is also industry dependent, but I really like people to own their real estate as often as possible rather than paying rent. Just because you are saving money every time you make that payment and you're investing in an asset that's going to go up in value.
Agreed. Yeah.
And it's kind of like what sets you up to be a winner financially in the long run.
And if you could find somebody like a bigger building where you could segregate some area of it and rent that out to even another entity, that'd be even better.
Yeah.
Offset your total payment.
Sometimes they're paying the mortgage for you by the time it's all said and done.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
It is cool.
The real estate is just, historically, it's just a tremendous wealth builder.
It is.
And so we love helping people do that.
And it's funny because CPAs, I think, are very aware of that and tend to tap into it themselves and tend to push people that way because they see, on pen and paper, black and white, what the results are.
Yeah.
And the wealthiest people in most communities are those who are heavily invested in real estate.
Yeah, I like it. So your last tip was call Colin and Carly.
That's right.
That's what I thought I heard. I thought I heard that. It was like, call Colin and he will help you find a place. And
That's perfect. Yes.
there you go. I like it. So tell me a little bit about your business and what you specialize in. I think you were talking about real estate and maybe some construction stuff as well.
Yeah. So the construction industry in Tennessee is doing fairly well. I think you're aware
they're a
of
little
that.
slow because we can't keep up with the demand, but yes, it's a good business to be in right now. If you can build a house, come to Tennessee and do one because it'll be sold like that.
That's right. And I think like the biggest challenges are probably more like labor supply and maybe even sometimes inventory, having the materials. But there's certainly no shortage of consumer demand
Right.
for construction.
Yeah.
Um,
And across the country, it's the same. It's like we're 4 million houses short currently or something crazy. So
yeah. And there's a lot to that. I'd
There's
love
a
to
lot
pick your
to
brain
that.
on that. But
yeah.
I would say, construction is also unique in the sense that if you want to be a general contractor doing jobs that are more than $25,000, eventually you're going to need that CPA reviewed
Gotcha.
financial statement
Yeah.
to get a higher license
Mhm.
limit. So a part of my desire to specialize and help people solve problems is trying to just focus in on this need, this construction contractor niche, provide some of those attest services.
Mhm.
But then I think in the long run, really follow up with more of the profit first stuff and more of the legacy building stuff and making sure that you're building an asset through your business and it's something that you're going to be proud to leave hopefully to your kids someday.
Yeah.
And then real estate, I think any really good tax person is going to want to stay in and around real estate and learn as much as they can about real estate taxation. So that's where that piece comes in.
Gotcha. How, and now have you passed your CPA? You're a
Yes.
full-on CPA?
Mm-hmm.
How did you lean towards construction and real estate stuff as opposed to all the many, many different facets of accounting out there?
So really experiencing, even as a young staff, the demand there,
Okay.
the volume of transactions that some of these construction contractors are out here doing, getting opportunities early on,
Yeah.
and being trusted to tackle tax returns that were probably bigger than I should have been working on at the time. But,
Here, Thomas, you take this guy.
pretty much stumbling my way through that, learning a lot, and getting to appreciate some of the nuance to it, especially in construction. There's some very specific accounting methods for that stuff on the commercial construction side that
Yeah.
you just have to know what you're doing or you're going to mess it up.
Well, and do you do even the minutia stuff? Like if say Mitch and I, we got out of the widget business, we're building houses and we go to Lowe's and I got receipts out the wazoo. Can I send those receipts to you and you'll categorize them, do that kind of stuff for a monthly fee as well? Or do you only want to see me once a year?
Well, no, I definitely do, bookkeeping, payroll. I try and be as full service as I can be,
Okay.
and just kind of narrow the scope of who that's fully serving.
Yeah.
But I will say this, that's why having a bank account, at least one, is so great. It's so much better to go off the bank statement.
Go off the bank statement,
box of receipts.
get a nice, nice credit card receipt, like showing all the transactions for the month.
And
Have one business credit card, maybe.
Talking about like early business lessons, there was a time where I was trying to do everything for more of a flat rate or fixed percentage kind of billing. And I just learned that sometimes you can spend many hours accomplishing very little. And that once you kind of attach your value to your time, it clarifies the extent to which people should look at maybe doing things in a little bit more of a, optimal way.
Yeah, I agree. It's, and what is it? A short pencil beats a long memory every day, all the time. So you could like take a little note about something or write on your receipt what and who and where this was for and why. And my wife, Carly, I just, terrible about giving her receipts, but I'm on camera saying I'm working on it. But I bought a little zipper bag just for receipts and have it in my car right now. So I'm writing on those and working on getting better, even after 23 years of doing it.
That's wonderful.
Poorly. So, what's something that I haven't asked you that you'd like to maybe share?
Well, I would say maybe this is a point on which we can connect a little bit. My first really business endeavor that was an actual success was really in the land business area of going out and just reaching out to people and saying, hey, my name's it was yellow letter marketing. You might be familiar with it. It's literally you're just taking pen to paper and writing letters to people.
Gotcha.
And you're using public data
I'd like to buy your land.
Exactly. I think realtors do this as well to try and get listings.
Yep.
So,
or I'll door knock some people. I'll come up.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, you want to sell your house?
And it's the concept there. It's just I'm going to buy the land and then I'm going to sell it either really as quickly as possible.
Right.
You know,
holding land costs money.
I never got into I know it's kind of a legal gray area, but wholesaling, I never did anything like that. But, buying land and then selling it at, sometimes a pretty substantial markup. And it's just, I think land's kind of uniquely positioned to do that because it's so much in the eye of the beholder. I've had land that people would say, I wouldn't give you $1,000 for that plot that would get sold for $12,000, to someone else.
Right.
So,
somebody told me they're not making any more land. What do you think about that?
Don't tell China that.
That's true. They are making more land. Making trash land.
That's right.
It's a good way to spend some trash. All right, let's hit the speed round real quick.
Got it.
You and this fiance, tell me your name again.
Shauna.
Shauna. You and Shauna are going out to dinner for a date night.
Yes.
Where are you headed to dinner?
Probably La Coretta.
Oh.
About 2 minutes away from her house.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite dish at La Coretta?
I'm pretty basic. I'd stick with an arroz con pollo. ACP. It's really hard to mess up.
I'm a Speedy Gonzalez kind of guy.
Oh, yes.
Just a taco, a little cheese burrito, or enchilada, rice and beans.
There's a Siete Hermanos. They rebranded recently, and I can't remember the new name of it, but they've got a Pollo Cancun.
Ooh.
That's very good.
Sounds like a beachy chicken. I like the idea of that.
Good.
That sounds good. Where are you going for pizza?
Pizza. So I would say on any given weeknight, our number one local restaurant choice would probably be Cootie Brown's.
Okay. Good call.
Shauna's gluten intolerant.
Yep.
And they have
gluten-free pizza.
A lot of gluten-free options, burgers and pizza.
Carly likes that as well.
Yeah. Main Street probably be right.
Main Street's a great pizza joint.
Mm-hmm.
Burger.
Yeah,
if you're going to get a burger.
Honestly, probably Pal's.
Oh, so good.
So hard to beat.
So good. Yeah. I love their hot dogs. You ever get a Pal's hot dog?
I never have.
Oh.
I've never had a Pal's hot dog.
Thomas, I don't know if we're friends anymore.
Oh, man.
Better go get a hot dog after this. Hot dog, no onion.
Yeah.
Frenchy fry, extra salt, and a large sweet tea. It's like $7. It's so good. It's not good for my heart, but delicious. Okay. How can our listeners connect with you online? They got tons of money they want to send your way.
Well,
for tax fees, because we love spending money on taxes. But you can help us save money.
That's right.
You got to earn your fee, don't you?
That's right. You want to spend your money on me so that you save more money than you spend on me.
Agreed.
Paying the IRS.
Yeah. So now is a great time to engage with you before April.
Exactly.
Let's get ahead of this, folks.
Well, and really now is a great time looking at 2025, right?
That's what
it hasn't started yet.
Right.
We can make a lot of changes here.
Yeah. It's still not too late to do some stuff to offset some taxes as well.
That's right.
Yeah. You still got till the end of the year.
So I'm available via email.
Okay. What's your email address?
Thomas@insightcfo.co.
Okay.
I think it'll be in the show notes.
Mitch will probably do that if you're really nice to him.
Well, I'm pretty nice to Mitch most of the time.
He likes gift cards. Cash is good. Okay. What about, are you on the socials?
I do have a Facebook page.
Okay.
And then I've got my personal LinkedIn page. I haven't gone through the trouble of doing a LinkedIn company page yet.
Gotcha.
But got
You can reach out on LinkedIn.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be a great place to connect.
Okay. What's your home address so I can just come see you?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't disclose that. Shauna would kill me.
All right. Cool. Hey, what gets you fired up? Because you've been kind of just, perfect accounting. Very you did laugh some. You were kind of like a little bit high. Like I got you a little bit up there, but you're jumping around. Besides, it's got to be probably a marriage coming up. I'm throwing you a bone right now. So Shauna, listen to this.
Yes.
Ooh, let's get married.
That's right.
Can't wait.
No. Shauna for sure lights my fire.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about that.
Little Doors song about that.
Music. Speaking of the Doors, just music in general. I don't get to do it as much anymore, but coming out here to local downtown venues and seeing live music.
Yeah.
That's a way to see me embarrass myself.
Got it. How many kids do you have?
2. Yeah. So,
and they get you fired up.
Yeah. They
can get you fired up in good ways.
All the ways.
Other ways.
That's right. You know all about that.
Yeah.
So I've got a 6-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter.
Oh, congratulations.
About to have a 6-year-old stepdaughter.
Wow.
So it's gonna be magic.
It will be fantastic. And and it's not easy, but it'll be great. It'll be great.
It will be.
Any last parting words you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would just like to say thank you, Colin, for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on.
Fielding my questions, dealing with my bland accountant demeanor.
It's not bland. Not at all. Like, you've been very fun to talk to for sure. It's just, it's just cool how the Lord made some people like me. I like to get excited, and then and you're very consistent, which is perfect accounting.
I'll tell you a secret. It's an anecdote here at the end. I'm prescribed Adderall.
Okay.
And I had a exam yesterday where they checked my blood pressure, and they're like, your blood pressure is a little lower than normal.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's weird, because I took my meds this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. It takes a lot to get me going.
There you go. Well, but I'm excited. Does college football get you going? You like college football?
I did go see the Bucks whoop UVA-Y, so yes.
And they're playing North Dakota State, I think, this weekend.
Yeah. I believe in them.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to play perfect to have a shot at winning that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. You heard it here, the prediction. It'll be out Friday. I love it. Well, thank you for being on the podcast. Thanks for you guys listening. I enjoyed our conversation. Till next time, I'm Colin Johnson with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams. If you want to invest in real estate, we can hook you up with Thomas. He can handle the accounting. We handle the property management. We help you find the property, identify it, buy it. We could probably sell it later on, do a 1031 exchange. He can tell you all about how that works. There's just lots of avenues to make a good investment in real estate, even if it's your personal house, and we'd love to help you do that. So connect with me, call me, email me, text me, send a carrier pigeon over. I would love to meet you and help you invest and move to Johnson City or the Tri-Cities. We do all of them. Thanks so much and have a great day.